Hey guys, how you doing? Good evening. José Morel here. It's Saturday, March what? I don't remember, March 24. Anyways, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Sunday already, anyways, Sunday morning. And well, I just got home. And while I'm preparing to go to sleep right now, I don't know, for some reason I began to have all these thoughts about death and spirituality. Maybe because I began to think about the death of my father. He died almost over 2 months ago, and yeah, it was a very painful period in my life. But there are certain things that I know about death and spirituality that it makes me feel like a mix of sadness and excitement at the same time, because we don't really know what's going on the other side, as we call it. I mean, once you die, we don't really know what's going on, what happens. We have theory, we have hypotheses of the things that are going on over there, and the things that happen once you die. So I also have my own hypotheses and ideas about this. And since I've been studying a little bit of personal development, and which goes related a lot with metaphysics, and metaphysics, it's related to spirituality. Again, I've been studying personal development, but from the spiritual point of view. So when you study that from that point of view, you realize many things, because that's the source of everything. I don't know if you heard about Esther Hicks, Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor. Anyways, I was thinking about death, spirituality, and I decided to make a short video about this because all these thoughts in my mind, I don't know why I haven't did, but all these thoughts that I couldn't really organize. So I decided to put my phone here and talk a little bit about it and let you know, guys, my opinion about it and what you think. You can you are more than welcome to leave your comments in the comment box, and let's talk about this. What you think. Those are kind of thoughts that come from a experience, from in this case from the death of a loved one. Okay, in this case my father. And actually I used to talk with him. I used to talk to him about this issue. I used to talk with him about that we all come from a non-material or spiritual world to a material world, and then we go back to this spiritual world. And that was the base of what we were talking about. We were really talking about death and all this, about death and the spiritual side of everything, And we also talk about that the spiritual and the material world are the two sides of the same coin, There are two sides of the same coin, and they are, in my opinion, I think they are somehow interconnected. I mean, they are somehow connected. We have access to the spiritual world, and the spiritual world, I think, has access to us, because it's dual. It's something that happens in both ways. I'm going to give you an example. For example, how do we get access from the spiritual world? Well, some of you might be thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? Talking about going to the other side and then coming back? No, I'm talking about, in this case, let's say, when you are an artist, a singer, a songwriter, or an artist, a composer. Where do these people get inspiration from? Yeah, they get inspiration from ideas that they collect from this and that, different experiences they get through life. Yes, that's true, but there are certain ideas that really come from a higher source, and they sometimes explain that. They many times explain that. Even I don't know, you've heard Michael Jackson. So many times they're asking, where does your inspiration come from? And he said, well, my inspiration comes from above. And he's not the only one who has said that. So they somehow create access to this world. They do. Every time you have a problem, an issue that's really bothering you, and then you wonder, how can I find a problem to this issue? And usually happens when, sometimes, a lot of people, they go to bed and they start, when they are about to go to sleep, they start thinking about these things, and sometimes they cannot even sleep because of the thinking of this. Oh, hold on, please. So sometimes you're wondering, how can I fix such a problem? And you usually thought and wonder yourself, how are you gonna fix this? And then someday the solution comes to you out of nowhere. That's how I think this spiritual side of the universe has a connection with us. I also think that happens through via dreams too. Well, this is my I don't know, how could I name this blog right here right now? My my opinion about this thing. I don't know how many of you watched the movie The Matrix. I also thought about this, The Matrix with Keanu Reeves. In that movie, if you haven't seen it, they describe this world, the one that we're living, right, as a matrix. And the matrix is not really, it doesn't really exist. It's a computer program, where all these guys have access to get into and then come out from the phone, So I was kind of thinking about this too, and I came to the conclusion that this world is pretty much similar to the Matrix. Well, I don't think it's a computer program. I think it's something much exciting than that. In metaphysics, for example, they say that everything that exists in this world, all the material things, everything you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, is really not real. Why? Because they explain that all these things are forever changing. All these things are forever changing. Even our bodies, the cells in our bodies are forever changing and regenerating. I mean, I don't really live in the same body that I was living even a few hours ago, or I was 2 weeks ago. It's a different body. It's changing. You cannot see it, but it's changing. It's happening. It's our body is moving. We don't see it, but if you look at it with a special microscope, you're gonna see particles of energy moving at a very high speed. And not only our bodies, but the walls in our house, our speakers, the phone. I'm filming this with the tripod that I have here. All these things. Look at your hand, and you're gonna see that it seems solid, but it's not solid. So it's forever changing. So that world is not real. The only thing that is real is your true essence. In this case, we're talking about your soul, your spirit, your essence. That's the real deal here. Why? Because it never changes. It never changes. Then when I began to think about it, I said, well, that makes a lot of sense. When I learned that, yeah, that makes a hell of a sense, if you ask me. So that means technically thinking again about the death of my father, and if you, I'm sure that you have suffered death of a loved one, that I come to the conclusion that that death, as we know it, doesn't really exist. It's not death. It's a transition. It's a transition from the physical world to the non-physical world, from a lower vibration to a higher vibration. Well, I don't want to get so technical in here, but in simple words, from the physical world, in other words, the matrix maybe, to the non-physical world, the spiritual world. It's a transition. It's like when you have water in a bucket and then you start boiling that water. All over the sudden, the water is going to become vapor and then gas. It's the same thing with us. It's the same thing. We never die. We only suffer a transition. So this is my little talk, my little vlog tonight. I was thinking about talking something interesting, but I didn't have any idea. I didn't have any idea for content to share with you guys, and this content just came to me, right now in the shower. I said, and it's not the first time I think about this. So many times, Well, anyways, I hope you like my little reflection or opinion about this subject, And then again, let me know in the comments what you think about it, and let's share idea. Let's have a conversation on different opinions. What do you think about that? And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which helps me a lot, And give me a thumbs up. I'm sorry if you like it. Again, thank you for watching. And I will see you in another episode. I'm gonna go to bed right now. Okay? Have a good night, have a good day, wherever you are. Enjoy your life. Ciao.